How's it going, everyone?
Hey.
We are live, complete with my holiday sweater.
Beautiful.
I'm always waiting for an excuse to wear this.
It has, like, real fur coming off that.
It's not real fur.
It comes out like real fur.
It does come out like real fur.
Disconcerting.
It's the closest I'll ever get to actually having a cat. How's everything sound for you guys? Audio, music. Let me turn on some stream beats. Hey, thank you, Weeb, for the donation.
Thank you.
This is actually going to be a good test to see how our fundraiser tracker is going. Because normally, lately it hasn't been updating. So
Not looking good.
I might need to go through and manually update it each time somebody, each time someone donates. Do you want to explain what we're doing the fundraiser for while I update this?
Yeah, so Joker vs. Snake is nearing the end of production. We have a really awesome work in progress right now for the music, and Sky is really into it. They're doing a great job, and one of the things they wanted to do to just bring it to the next level was hire someone to record the string parts of the song live, which will make it sound a lot better, a lot more full and real than just using the MIDI like normal. And that would still sound great. Sky would kill it. Mm-hmm. But this is just a kind of a minor thing that would add a decent amount. The song is 5 minutes long, I think.
Yeah, our animation's only like 2 minutes long.
So, yeah, we'll definitely release the full version for everyone to listen to, which is where this will matter more.
This is taking forever to update. Yeah, the animation itself is about 2 minutes long, but I think we'll be able to pad it out a bit more with like codec calls and stuff.
Why is this so bad to update?
I don't know. There we go.
It really just needs like a slider or a button or something.
Let's see.
Are we excited for the Game Awards?
What Game Awards?
There's the Game Awards going on tonight.
Oh.
There's going to be a Sonic trailer for the new game, I think.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. I bet he's going to start off the trailer and they're going to, like, have the most realistic portrayal of faster-than-light travel we've ever seen.
Honestly, I hope so.
Me too. Except then the actual game would come out and that would be nowhere to be seen. We need to decide what to do. How do game trailers count? I don't know. We've had a couple of situations where that was relevant and then just kind of ignored it because it's confusing.
Yeah.
There's not many. I think, I don't know. It's really weird, especially when something big changes. Like, what was the big one that we found? It was related to someone reviving. I don't remember who. Maybe it was Link. I don't know. I like it when there's consistency.
Yeah. Let's see what we got in chat. We got Connor Askew, thank you for being here. Owen Shihak. Bobcat is just kind of there. He really is. Mango Boy, Early Boys Unite. Yes. I was earlier than all of you, actually. Carlton the Robot. I always want to say Carlton, but it's Carlton. Carlton the Robot. Ultimate Lifeform, good to see you here. JT Gamer, glad you could pop in. It's Tasty, I'm glad you enjoyed the Minecraft Battle Royale. Levin was just saying he thinks that might be his favorite episode we've done.
Yeah, I really liked the presentation we did. I felt like we did an awesome job
I
putting everything together.
Freaking burned myself out on that editing.
I also read like 14 Minecraft books and spent like 15 hours trying to find Minecraft China that never panned out.
Yeah, Minecraft China could potentially change everything. But
that book is that game is insane. They do some weird crap.
Yeah, I think we can probably find it before next round.
I bet it will count. It's just we can't get a hold of it to figure out what happens.
Yeah, so if any of you live in China or know someone who lives in China and wants to help us out, let us know.
Please.
Let's see. You actually included the ERB reference. Can't thank you enough for that. Yeah, so fun fact, that joke about Enderman waiting for his epic rap battles of history appearance against Slenderman, I included that because I saw Mango Boy, or I guess he saw me in an Epic Rap Battles of History comment section, and I said I would include something, and I did. Let's see. Can you react to bread falling over next? That sounds boring.
Is that like a thing, or literally grab a slice of bread and tip it over?
I don't know. I'm gonna raise my chair. I have a download for Minecraft China. Well, I think we can download it, but you need a Chinese address to access it, right?
Yeah, so the problem isn't downloading the game, it's getting past the launcher, which requires you to have the, I forget what the name of the account is, but yeah, we can't bypass that, at least from what I've looked into. I haven't looked into hacking through it yet, because I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
And also, that might not be legal.
Did you really just break your own rules by added Isaac to the fight? Nope. Another person butchered my last name. It's what I do. It's what you all come here for.
Did we include Minecraft lore that came from Game Theory? Not consciously. I didn't check out any of their videos before that episode.
Yeah. Most of the lore came from...
Most of it came from the books.
The books. Well, I was going to say the books, and I feel like a lot of what we pulled from the books was just substantiating stuff that you could already find in the game.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the books, other than, like, some of the Enderman culture stuff, almost everything we took from there is basically how I just would have interpreted the game already, but it made it a lot more clear.
Like, things like how they interact with weight. You can find precedent for that in the games. But you also get a bunch of different opinions online of people saying Steve can lift everything physically in his inventory. Other people saying it doesn't have weight. So all we used the books for is to substantiate that, kind of see what side of that we should lean toward. And I think if the book said something like Steve physically held everything with like his glute muscles, we would use that. But I don't know why I said glute muscles. I was thinking pocket, but then it'd have to be the back pocket. Just everyone ignore that.
Fun fact, Steve doesn't wear clothing. It's all paint.
I hate that. It's actually like paint?
Well,
who paints him?
Well, it's not like literal paint. It's just like, I guess maybe more of a tattoo.
Do you think NES Zapper bullets are fatal? Actually...
Gunman has maybe one of the craziest feats we've seen in bracket so far.
You think we're good to share that? Or
No,
should we hold off?
I want to hold off.
All right.
It's so good.
He has, I will say, I think his gun is better than anything we found for Snake. Any of Snake's guns.
Maybe, well, what do you count as a gun? Like, do his explosives count?
I'd say ones you shoot out of a gun.
Explosives you shoot out of a gun?
Like a
does a
grenade
rocket launcher count? I don't know how it would compare to that. Actually, maybe I do know. Also, if you want the thumbnail for the Battle Royale, you're probably best to just use a thumbnail grabbing website. Probably doesn't have that.
Unless you meant like the
template,
in which case I'd have to find that. I feel like you broke the rules by saying only playable characters, and now like an assist trophy, like Super Smackdown, then a main fight. I get what you're saying. And yeah, it is mostly playable characters, but also assist trophies make up a big part of Smash bracket, and there was an extra slot, so we just thought it would be a fun way to both fill that and also get some fundraising for our series,
which helped a lot.
Something I see a lot of people compare what we're doing to like Death Battle or Animation Rewind, and while the concept is the same, the difference is several $1,000s per episode. I think people forget that sometimes, that we're really just kind of scraping by trying to get what we can for each of these episodes. So we could have gone either way on that. I thought it was fun, and yeah,
It does kind of take away from the purpose of finding who the strongest fighter is, but at the same time, like Ink was kind of hinting at, it opens up the door to representing a lot of parts of Smash that wouldn't get in otherwise, which isn't the best, like the strongest playable fighter, but it's a fun way to tie the series together.
Yeah. Duck Hunt versus Snake when? Okay, that would actually... Let's see. Who's like a bounty hunter character in Smash? There's
Samus.
Duck Hunt... If Duck Hunt goes to losers, Duck Hunt versus Captain Falcon would be a lot of fun. A bounty hunter versus Wild Gunman who's supposedly they don't say wickedest, most dangerous cowboy in the Wild West.
I totally believe it.
Who wins a new death battle in your opinion?
What new death
Popeye
battle?
versus
Popeye.
Saitama?
Not even close. Popeye demolishes.
How do you even measure some of Popeye's stuff? Like,
I don't
didn't
think
he
you
tie a
can.
lightning bolt in a knot and then throw it
I think a
around?
lot of the stuff you're not going to be able to measure, but there is a lot of measurable stuff that is just insane and way above anything Saitama has done.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the donation, Bubba J. Let me go ahead and update this. Would you look at a couple comments?
Can't stay for long, but always enjoy watching. If you do end up getting the orchestra, I hope it sounds epic. It definitely will. Sky is really great at writing the music and will do an awesome job picking out someone who does it justice.
It sounds like something straight out of Persona 5.
You could probably slip it into the soundtrack and no one would notice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people who listen to it a lot would notice there's a new song.
The singer we have, like, she even sounds like the singer in Persona 5.
I hope that she is as good as her demos seemed. I guess we bought the
we
test.
commissioned her for something.
That's right. Yeah. I'm going to start going through the questions people have submitted on Discord.
Thank you so much. How much is 7 Canadian dollars in, I almost said regular dollars? US dollars.
Like 4 or 5? I don't know. Someone convert that for us, please, because I'm going through stream questions.
Gotcha.
Do we believe the fact that Olimar's ship can destroy stars? By saying it's a fact, I feel like your question is a little biased. But for the context, that statement came from an ad about the ship and was never demonstrated. And Olimar is like 1 inch tall. So it's
Although people in
tall
ads
order.
never do, like, they never exaggerate the truth.
Maybe there's more basis to it than I know. Andix has been looking into Olimar a ton on the team, but I haven't dived into it much myself.
Let's see. Popeye literally broke frames of animation. Okay, I do that every single episode we make accidentally.
You are so freaking strong.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the YouTuber Battle Royale because you're just going to give yourself the most stupid feats. You're going to put out like an Ink Thinks feat compilation video, and it's going to be so dumb.
We'll see.
I know you. All right, so going through the questions we had submitted on Discord, starting off, we have, since Yoshi just came up recently, it might be a good idea to talk about our stance on Paper Mario and how it will affect future Mario episodes if it does. We're still talking about that as a team, so we haven't,
I didn't catch the question. Would you say it again?
Basically, what's our stance on Paper Mario, and how will that affect the franchise? Yeah, good point. So yeah, like Ink was saying, we haven't really come to a conclusion yet. We've been talking about it a lot. The argument is that Paper Mario and Mario are literally the same person and should get each other's feats. There's a lot to that argument. It sounds so freaking dumb on the surface, and yet, like, the games seem really intentional about making it happen.
Robot put together a great write-up of it on the Discord server.
Yeah, and
I only ask if you read that, actually read through it. Because I've seen a lot of people, like, he posts it, and then they read a sentence in, and they're like, this is bullcrap. But it's actually well thought out, and it at least makes a good argument.
To be fair, that was my reaction. I read through Robot's document, and I'm like, this is the stupidest crap ever. But, like, I can't dismiss it. That's just how fiction works sometimes, is they, like, just have really dumb crap, and then you have to roll with it. So, I don't know. Right now, there's a lot supporting it. I'm personally leaning towards compositing the Paper Mario series with the normal Mario franchise. I know people will say that's not even compositing because they're literally the same thing, but you know what I mean. Yeah, that's how I'm personally leaning. We haven't come to a strong conclusion yet, and we do kind of have to balance whether or not the call would be too confusing to present to a general audience. Because we don't want to have to spend half the video talking about why they're the same person and going over all the proof.
That won't be like a deciding factor in how we do it. But
it's not a deciding factor, but I think it does influence things. Like, we try to be accurate and not just tone things down because they're casual. But, like, if we're on the border, we're probably going to lean to the side that doesn't require a 20-minute video explaining why. But yeah, I don't know. It seems solid to me. It seems like it works in our rules. It's just, there's like a really big hurdle of how things feel just intuitively. And that's not a good reason to deny it, but it is something that we need to overcome and make sure that we're comfortable with.
Yeah. I will say I found Paper Mario styled sprites for all of the Koopalings, and I love them. That's all that I have to say for that.
They look great.
Real fast question. Are the videos like Kirby and Banjo's real sizes joke videos, or are they serious and you actually believe it? A bit of both, actually. We're not using them in bracket.
I completely believe Banjo's size.
Yeah, Banjo's size. This comes from Andex, basically saying, well, look, he's probably really small. And then I took it and ran with it. He's like, okay, slow down, Ink. But everything is so consistent. I believe it. We're not using it because of the creator. But like we were about to before you responded.
I'm more solid on Banjo's height being that tiny than I am on, like, Mario's height.
Yeah.
Except Mario has statements.
Everything lines up. And frankly, I don't believe that guy.
Bowser's height, that's a better one. Mario's height is fair. And yeah, I think he was just wrong, but I don't think it's fair to just say that we asked the creator and he disagreed with us, so we ignore him.
Yeah. So while we do know better than him, we will respect what he said.
The Kirby thing, I'm like 60-40 on. And it's largely because it's preserving my sanity.
It's not going to make it into bracket, but...
Okay. I'm going to keep going through these. Is Villager time traveling by going into the console settings and changing the clock canon? No. I don't think he does that.
A player can do that, but I don't think that's explicitly Villager.
Although, I was going through all the manga, and there's a lot of crap with Rossetti in there. And I don't know what any of it says, because it's Japanese. But maybe something there will give us some
I don't want to think about Villager reset the game arguments.
It's kind of supported.
It is. We'll say he can reset Animal Crossing.
He might be able to just delete towns from existence.
Only Animal Crossing towns. He has never deleted... I don't want to think about it.
Sephiroth has never hurt a Pokemon, and therefore he should lose to Mewtwo.
That's what I'm thinking.
How many Smash Bracket episodes does the team work on at a time? A lot.
9 to 12, I think, when you look at everything.
Let's see. We have, I think, 3 to 5 being animated at a time, usually. And then the research team works on 5 to 10, depending on our schedules. But those aren't really all at once. It's just like, these are the ones we need to focus on next. And people kind of take those on in whatever chunks they want. Mm-hmm. And then we have the music and art people, but those are usually overlapping with the episodes being animated. So yeah, probably like 10 to 13. It's a lot.
Yeah. All right, next.
Explain why Olimar is going to win bracket for all of us with simple minds.
70,000 Pikmin, all with bombs.
And like 7,000 that spit acid. Or wait, 10,000 that spit acid? Can he hold 7,000 or 10,000 of a kind?
He can hold 7,000 of any kind.
There's 10 types?
Oh, maybe it's 10. 9,999.
That's it. Yeah, anyway, it's a lot. Mm-hmm. And they're tiny, but they are fast, and they have lots of hurting things.
Yeah. A lot of people think that it's going to be a stomp, like Piranha Plant is just going to eat him. And while that could very well happen, we haven't looked into it. Piranha Plant is basically a Pikmin boss.
He really is.
Like, we couldn't have gotten much closer with that.
Like, I don't know, just imagine having, like, 10,000 little ants the size of your knuckle here. And they just crawl into every orifice of your body and start spewing acid inside of you.
And dropping bombs.
It's messed up.
Yeah. Oh, dang. Lucina would lose because she's terrified of bugs. It would cripple her.
That's hilarious.
Like, actually, that's crippled her in combat and cutscenes. Like, she was supposed to fight, saw a bug, and, like, collapsed.
That's really
funny. Olimar hard counters Lucina. Let's see. I see some questions coming in here. We don't have too many left on Discord, it looks like.
Oh, no, we have a ton.
Oh, we do? Let's finish this section, and then I'll go through some of the questions in chat.
What has been the biggest hurdle for the research team? finding enough people who speak Japanese to join the team to help us translate.
Yeah.
I have, 2,000 manga to go through in Japanese that I just can't understand, and I'm trying to learn, but it's so slow because I have other stuff to do. Olimar versus Goku.
Actually, Poison Pikmin could poison Goku.
I think he's been, harmed by poison.
Or at least a heart virus.
I
What's
honestly
SGD?
think that they might stand a chance.
Let's see.
I mean, obviously Goku could just obliterate all of them with a Kamehameha or something. I just don't know that he would do that right off the bat.
I got the original, or
events.
I saw the original Dragon Ball first, and it got me in the habit of always saying Kamehameha instead of Kamehameha. Would you look up what SGD is?
SGD. Oh, currency. Sure.
Let's see. We will be putting out an instrumental version of Sonic vs. Fox. Yes.
Singapore. 366.
So with Sonic vs. Fox, Zero vs. Shadow, and Boo vs. Gengar, a lot of it was resting on an animator who has kind of just disappeared. And there's a high likelihood they'll be back eventually, but it could be a few days or it could be a few months. So a lot of those are really up in the air. You want to find another question?
Yeah. Let's see. What's a matchup you are dreading to research? All of them with Sonic characters involved.
It's not even that Sonic's research is that bad.
No, it's just that there's just a never-ending stream of arguments that I've already talked about for Sonic that I keep spending time talking about. And then there's a bunch of new arguments that they don't have a lot of basis within how we approach the series, which makes it just tiresome.
Yeah.
Also Mario, because Mario has a billion things.
Yeah.
All right. How many? Oh, we answered that. I just answered this whole section.
Okay, then I'm going to go through a couple more on here.
Okay.
Season 0 fights are being totally re-researched, re-animated, re-edited. It's like they never happened, starting from scratch. We really undersold both Link and Ridley. I think, which character in Season 0 do you think we undersold the most?
Mario.
Really?
Yeah.
More so than Ridley?
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about Phazon for Ridley, or Speed.
Phazon is really, really crazy, but
Thank you so much, Maddie.
I don't know. It's not. It's basically just one ability, and it's a really, really strong ability. But I don't know.
We also he's way faster than we had him before. In the animation, he was portrayed pretty slow. Actually, I will say I think Ridley was portrayed the worst in animation.
Yeah, I can agree with that. We have someone who made a video of him ranking all of our animations who wanted us to react to that. I think that we decided we are going to just rank our own animations, right? Is that a plan for this stream?
Yeah.
Instead of reacting to that video specifically?
Okay, I have more to say, and I just need a second to figure this out.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, yeah. So I actually watched that video and I loved it. I thought it was great. Would you guys rather see us react to that video or link to that video so you all can see it and then give our own thoughts going through our own videos and ranking those? I wish I could do polls on here. One day YouTube is going to be just as good as Twitch.
You can definitely do polls.
I can do it on premieres. I don't think I can do it on
streams, really?
It doesn't
Streams
like letting
are
me
just
interact with. I mean, I'll try. I really don't think I can.
That's so weird. We should share the link though.
Yeah.
Would one of the mods grab that from our Discord? I think he posted it in feedback. The feedback channel. While people are putting in their preferences, I'm going to go on to another question, which is, what is your biggest hot take when it comes to versus debating? I have so many.
All right, you do one.
Our Well, I have so many. The problem is deciding which one is my biggest hot take.
I got a hot take.
Yeah.
Okay, so my hot take is that people don't necessarily think characters have to be super strong to talk about. But so many people hype up characters to a level that they're never portrayed as, but doing so sets this new standard of where characters need to operate in order to be a viable character. And essentially that kind of like hyping up a character to insane levels that they're never portrayed at is the same as leaving them at a super low level, which is like character rant versus battle wiki have essentially the same end goal, which is get characters to a place where you can portray them. It's just that a place like character rant tends to lead toward only using what you've seen, or like versus or respect threads, whereas versus battle wiki, debate jungle, places like that are a lot more lenient. But I think it's all to the same goal. That's my thought.
I think mine would be that people don't try to ground fiction in reality enough. And I know that fiction works differently than reality, obviously. But the problem is that there's this mix of trying to use physics and our understanding of our reality to see how impressive something is, and then also saying that we can't expect like consistency or realism because it's fiction. And the combination of the two means that none of the math or science that you see trying to explain something has any meaning when you're willing to just toss any inconsistencies out as being fiction. Without having some limits there, like it's basically just you making up a number and then trying to make that number look really good with physics. Mm-hmm. It reminds me a lot of like this really sketchy like health supplements you see that are like, this heals your quantum aura to be really helpful, and just throwing out all these science buzzwords. And I know that a lot of the people who do the actual science and math are very smart people who don't really do that with their intention, but I feel like it's a really big blind spot that people in the community have.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sky did the track for the Minecraft Battle Royale.
Yes. The new Super Smackdown match, we don't have a release date for any of them. We hit some pretty bad development snags, but also because it's just getting started, we have several episodes going at once, with neither super laser focused right now. So I'm guessing end of this month or beginning of next month.
Man, remember when we came up with the idea for SmackDown and we're like, we're going to get an entire battle researched and animated in a month?
If we had enough animators, we could do that.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on SCP-682 and versus debates?
I think that SCP is, like, in general as a verse, is very cool to talk about, and I also think it's way more underwhelming than people want to think. SCP-682, people want to put them up, I've seen a lot against, like, Doomsday, and you have two options there. You either use the version you actually see, the kind that's actually kept in the SCP facility, and it's just a massive stomp, totally obliterated. Or you use like his true form, the celestial being, in which case it's not even a fun fight. So I don't know who I'd put SCP up against. Maybe Doom Guy.
I'm not familiar enough with him to say. One of the things I like about the SCP and like Lovecraftian horror in general is that you usually will have everything be really grounded, because it's meant to be scary to normal humans, and if you have things that are too abstract, you lose that. But in a versus sense, that makes it deceptive. They're portrayed to be really strong, but it's always in relation to like humans. And then you have like usually like the source of where everything is coming from, and that's just so far beyond anything that it's not fun to talk about.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, we actually, Dr. Hippo Time, we have commissioned a vocal track from Sky. That's what Joker vs. Snake is. Mm-hmm. He's not actually, or they're not actually doing the lyrics, or they're not actually doing the vocals, but they wrote them.
What's the most ridiculous matchup you think works very well in animation? That's a good question.
I'm surprised how much I've enjoyed Duck Hunt versus Ice Climbers. That entire thing, it's so hard to script because there's nothing there for either character.
They both have like one game, a couple of spin-offs, but it's basically the same
like
game.
one screen.
Yeah, it's rough, and yet I think it's a lot better than I expected it would be.
Yeah. Anyway,
can we shout out certain matchups in the stream?
shout out.
I don't know. That's all the info I have. So no, because I don't
Joker
have them.
versus Snake.
How powerful is the Ender Dragon?
Unclear.
Yeah, I didn't look into its feats. If you want to go, like, if you trust statements and you are using the book The End, it's probably at least like multi-galaxy level easily, arguably like beyond universal. And then if you tie it in with like the end poem from Minecraft at a really literal reading, you could probably get even crazier stuff. I don't buy that. I would say like strong grenade level, maybe.
Yeah. All right.
Do you like the 5th generation games of Pokemon, Black and White 2? Or do you not like it because of Ice Cream and Gears? This one is specifically directed to me? I love Ice Cream. And also Gears. They're my favorite.
I stopped playing Pokemon after Gen 4, seriously. I think that was the last one I really played.
I played the Gen 5 games, and I don't remember them much.
Yeah.
I think that was the one that didn't give you... Like, you only had the Gen 5 Pokemon until you beat the game, which was a little weird to me, but I liked it fine.
Yeah. Bubba, I don't think I should say what I think would be the biggest stop, because not only could I be wrong, but then people are going to get the impression that I'm going into a battle with a bias when that's not necessarily the case.
But it's definitely... I was going to say a joke, and then I just blanked on all our matches.
People are going to take it seriously.
I don't even remember the options. You know what you said, Lemon. What did I say?
I don't know.
How many matchups that are not in SmackDown or Death Battle can you name in 1 minute? Matchups that are not in either?
So I guess like theoretical matchups?
Like a billion. Like I just
He could do a billion in 1 minute. That's a statement. It's canon. Please use it.
I mean, there's just... If it's just any matchup, there's no, like, criteria for that. I just pick one random person and put them against everything. Like, we'll say... oh, what's his name? I was going to do the guy who invented peanuts because I remembered his name. But now
George Washington Carver. He
That's
didn't
it.
invent them, but he innovated 500 different ways to use them.
Invented peanuts. That was a really dumb thing for me to say.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Anyway, yeah, George Washington Carver versus Snake. George Washington Carver versus Wolverine. George Washington Carver versus the Moon.
All right, we get it. Real fast, we should clear this up. I keep seeing people throw out 80 miles per hour for Animal Crossing Villager because of that community post I made. We're not sure how those manga are going to hold up as usable for Animal Crossing, and even if they were, that wasn't combat speed, that was travel speed. So you don't need to worry too much about that.
So, in order for that to be his combat speed, he would also need to have comparably fast reaction speeds in other cases, and the ability to, like, attack that fast.
Yeah.
So I don't really expect that. But it's possible. Those manga are weird. Did you include all of the panels I sent you in that little collage?
Most of them. If you guys want a little sneak peek of Animal Crossing manga, go to the very end of Minecraft Battle Royale, and right as I talk about Villager, there's a ton of panels that flash across the screen for a few frames each. If you pause it and then press period on your keyboard, if you're viewing it on a desktop, it'll advance frame by frame, and you can see some real crazy stuff.
And comma to go back one frame. That helps.
Yeah.
Like Ink was saying, we don't actually even know if we're using those. He just asked me for an intimidating picture of Villager, and I had so many from the manga. Did you put the creepy intimidating ones too? Or just
I put like all of them.
There's some cursed images there, guys.
We should go through them.
Sure.
I'm going to pull them up.
Ink, if you were to design a Star Fox game, how would you do it?
Oh, let's see. I think that they would need a balance between like space travel and like on foot combat. I'm pulling this up, so give me 1 second to think, and then I'll come up with an idea. I've thought about it a little bit. I really don't enjoy most Star Fox games.
I think the problem with Star Fox games is that they had like a really cool innovation with the branching paths, and then they just didn't do very much to take advantage of it.
And they just remade the same game over and over and over and over.
Yeah, like literally. I think they put out the Star Fox 64 like what, 5 times now?
All right, here we go. So let me make this a bit bigger for you all. Actually, theater mode. All right, that's good enough. So here are some of the great ones I used. Genghis Khan Villager. Villager with an axe. Don't want to explain that one. Oh, that one barely got on screen.
That was Villager ripping up palm trees and throwing them into a fire.
Yep. Don't want to talk about that one. Let's see.
I believe the axe one you just passed was Villager extending an axe.
What's the context of this?
It's a dream.
Gotcha.
I think. Again, I don't actually speak Japanese, but I think what happened is the villager went to like a dream masseuse who did some kind of dream therapy, and he kept having all these weird dreams, and that villager, the buff one, kept showing up as a king in all of those dreams, and the final dream was on like an island of apes, and then he shows up as the king of the apes, which made him huge and buff like that, I think.
Oh, we did have questions on the community tab as well. Are those compiled?
I don't think so.
I'll pull those up. We gotta make some progress.
What's your favorite third-party character? I like Joker the best, but I think that Kazuya is the most fun to play. Do you want to respond to that?
I think Joker is my favorite just because of how cool his reveal trailer is.
That was very cool. What do you think of responding or reacting to the Game Awards? I think they start in an hour.
I'm not super interested in doing that.
Great. Me neither. And another question about SCP-682, so we'll skip that.
Cool. Is that all of them?
Yep.
Cool. Let's get some YouTube questions. Are we going to get any news on a round 2 of Smash Bracket?
Probably not for a while.
I'm guessing that'll be coming around 2023. I think the rest of round 1 is going to take most of next year. Maybe if we can get more animators and a budget, we can speed it up. But yeah. Let's see. Do you use EV training in Pokemon Smash Bracket?
Yeah. All of the Pokemon are max IVs and EVs.
Let's see. Your website still says the latest episode is Banjo versus Yoshi.
Yeah, we should fix that.
And yeah, that's basically all the questions.
Oh.
All right, let's go through just a few more from chat, and we can get on to ranking our videos.
Oh, Game Awards is in 10 minutes.
When do you think Smash Bracket will come to an end? I guess about 5 years.
The tournament or the channel?
The tournament.
Okay. I don't expect the channel to go anywhere, but maybe.
Yeah, I think we'll stick around after. But yeah, for the tournament itself, we've got, I think, like 4 rounds and a loser's bracket. So I'd guess about 5 years. All right, any other questions before we move over? Mods, if you have a link to that tier list maker someone made for Smash Bracket episodes, that would be awesome to share. What will Super Smackdown be renamed to? We haven't decided. I've thought about Super Smashdown. People talked about that. That's something in Smash already, though, and I don't necessarily want to have it be correlated to Smash still.
I'm not a fan of it.
Um,
You can't see new questions coming in if you're at the top.
I was looking for old ones. What are the rules for what Pokemon Red can use? He's going to be using Squirtle, Bulbasaur, or Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard. Really, that's who you're playing as in Smash. That's the true representative. Red himself can be swapped out with other trainers. So we just felt like that was the simplest way to both represent what you get in Smash and also not feel weird with other fighters like Mewtwo or Pikachu or Pichu being owned by Red. Wait, how are Yoshi's feats outliers? What? Did we list any of his feats as outliers?
Nope.
I didn't think we did. I guess...
I guess if we took the Constellation feat as a different interpretation, then it would have probably been an outlier. And in that case, it would have been because it met the criteria we laid out for determining outliers.
Yeah. Is it a composite Pokemon trainer? I think we were talking about doing that.
I don't think we've decided.
I think that would be fun.
It would be really neat, but then we'd have like a lot of weird powers that the trainer should be doing in the fight. Like being psychic.
Yeah. How much do you hope / predict the channel to grow after the YouTuber Battle Royale? It all depends on if people react and how many people do. If each YouTuber that we talk about reacts to it, I could see us going up to 100k subs. But it's just so hard to know. What's on track to be the next SmackDown? We've got a few in the works right now. Boo versus Gengar could be ready any day, but I don't want to bank on that. Sonic versus Mario probably would be the next.
That's what it's looking like. King Knight versus Wario is also kind of close.
Yeah, that one they're thinking is going to be done by the end of this month. But... Oh, wait, let's do this. Oh, these only have our old episodes on them with our tier list. Does anyone know where our Smash Bracket tier list maker is? Well, Greninja the Ashes Greninja. We're compositing Greninja. Thank you, Weeb. You're the best.
Ash Greninja doesn't really give him much, though.
Let's see. So there's a couple episodes that we're missing. We'll just have to voice what those are.
All right.
Let's see. Doesn't have Battle Royale. Gotcha. Is Battle Royale performing well, growth and views wise? Yeah, it's doing fantastic, especially because I realized today I forgot to put tags on the video.
Nice.
But yeah, it's our second best performing ever.
So about clicking the link to the Audible thing and getting warned about it, that is usually because you have like a really aggressive ad blocker on. It doesn't have a link, or it doesn't have any malware in it. It's just that the technology they're using for tracking who clicks the link and what they buy can be flagged as malware if you have like really strict filters because it is tracking you. I had the same thing on my computer when I clicked it because I have really strict ad blocking stuff, but you just bypass it and it's fine.
Yep. Last question before we go rank. What types of battle royales do you think are fun? Multiple characters like TMNT, or the same character, like different versions of them, like a Ricky Tikki battle royale?
I think they could all be fun.
Yeah, I think they could all be fun. The ones that I tend to gravitate toward most are your different characters.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Would you say I can control my personal atoms?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and make a tier list. You want to answer that while I get it switched over?
Why couldn't Enderman BFR everyone in the Battle Royale? So we're going to have a deep dive talking about this episode. It's going to go into that and a lot of other stuff in more detail than I can cover now. The basic answer is he could do it to everyone. Alex was able to escape the end, though. It would have been... like, even still with everything Alex could do, that was a very powerful win condition for the Enderman.
Yep.
And the way that we portrayed it in the fight with them both teleporting there and fighting isn't necessarily representative of what would have happened. It was just a really fun way to tie in the ability and the characters and the environments more. it probably would have worked a lot. It's just that Alex is strong enough and competent enough that she could probably avoid that being an issue. The Enderman can teleport across dimensions, but it's not as seamless as their normal teleportation. So it probably would be very difficult to pull off in a like a tense fight, which gives Alex a good chance to avoid the most dangerous parts of it.
Yeah. All right, let's go through this tier list, and then let's see. We'll stick that there. Do you guys want us to keep streaming, or are you all going to go watch the Game Awards, or what? We'll figure it out. Anyway.
We can do this one quickly anyway.
Yeah. So, Link versus Ridley. This is the one episode I have a really hard time going back to watch at all.
Are we just ranking these overall?
What do you mean?
Like, is this animation or research?
I think
or everything?
overall episode.
Let's see. So, I think I agree. I really don't like that. I don't think we did a good job representing either character. Mm-hmm. We did a very bad job with scripting. It was just...
The animation is... I think it's good for our first one ever, but it doesn't represent both characters. Well, it represents Link all right. But Ridley is kind of mindless and slow in it, and that's not how Ridley is. And also in the episode itself on the Smash Bracket channel, I did a weird audio filter accidentally that put this very unpleasant hiss over the entire battle.
Oh, really?
It's not that way in the fight-only version, but for me, I'd put it at a D.
I'm fine with
that. Meta Knight versus Marth. What do you think?
That one's hard because... Oh, it's almost time for the pre-show. I knew it.
Cool.
That one's hard for me because I feel like our research was lacking on both characters. But it was also kind of the start of when we started more taking things more seriously. And while there's definitely a lot that we missed and things that we would do better now, I don't think we did a bad job with it.
I'm grateful for this episode because it made me realize that I need to stop debunking or downplaying characters before the fight itself, and stop referencing other series. I'd be like, now with Meta Knight, you might see on a series like Death Battle, he might be this strong. But actually, if you look at this, he can only do this. And with Marth, you might think this, but actually he can probably only do this. And that was most of the analysis. And that's really hard for me to look back on. I've gotten a lot better at scripting since then and pacing. I think we had to make a video like this for me to learn that I don't enjoy doing it like that. I'd probably put it about on par with Link versus Ridley.
I think I would put it at a C tier. I like the animation a lot. I feel like it shows off a lot of the strong points of what our approach can do differently.
I hope that he isn't still Casino Object tier. Well, he'll get Kirby right back at you now, probably, so hopefully that'll give him something. But yeah, he's very small, which is pretty rough for some of his feats.
Yeah, it hurts the franchise as a whole a lot.
Yeah.
Except for Kirby, who is 14 light years tall.
Mewtwo versus Sephiroth.
I liked that one a lot.
I did too.
I am admittedly, I don't like this one because it's just been hanging over my head that we don't have the finished animation.
I was about to say that.
So that brings it down a lot for me.
And then this one was also kind of stressful. Our animator who did most of this, Darker, he lost all internet connection a few days before this was supposed to be posted. And so we didn't have the battle. And so we ended up scrambling to get a bunch of different animators at the last second to collaborate and put it together. And I think it looked awesome at the end.
Yeah, they did a great job with that.
So that was really stressful. It just had a ton of production issues. But I generally like all of it. I know a lot of people didn't like the characterization of Mewtwo, but I liked that too. I liked the analysis. Yeah. Oh, hey, thank you so much for the donation, Cthulhu.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we are getting a custom 3D model for Ridley.
Have we showed off what the guy we're hiring can do?
We have not. We can do that after this.
It's so good. He's gonna kill it. I think I would probably put Sephiroth and Mewtwo at B tier though, overall.
Oh, really? I'd say S. We can split the difference
S.
and do A.
I'm fine with A. Like, it feels like... I feel like that was the episode where we started to get into our groove more.
Mm-hmm.
200 for the goal amount.
Oh, you were right.
And I feel like it was a really good episode for us as a channel, but that there's still a lot of polishing that we could have done. And I'm not super happy with the state of the research just because there's so much to go through for both characters. And we went through a lot of it, but it just feels like we missed plenty.
Why did you make Mewtwo look like he dipped his arm in piss when he used Thunder Punch? That's how he does it. He like crouches down and pees on his arm. That's deep Pokemon lore. Yeah, so I'd say A. I put Mewtwo versus Bill Cipher at S. That's one of my favorites we've done.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Do you not think so? I love that one.
I liked it. I feel like I wasn't a huge fan just because it was kind of a weird match. Like, I feel like we did a really good job playing the characters off of each other, and it was fun to watch, but they didn't feel super well suited to a debate with each other.
Yeah. Oh, I did see some complaints about, like, sprites matching up, like you said. Who said it? Jax. And there's only so much we can do about that. Like, now we have a few sprite artists we can commission if we need to, but sprites are just as expensive as a full animation sometimes. And so we kind of just got to work with what we have. When we get to be bigger, we'll be able to have different sprites or different models. But for the most part, it's just... That's what we got here at Smash Bracket.
I think eventually our goal is to create custom sprites for every character in Smash with a consistent style that has a good representation of everything they can do. It's just that that's going to cost like $80,000. So
yeah, I think I mathed it out and it was a little over 40,000.
I think you were underselling getting a good art style and making sure they're consistent and making sure they're detailed enough to represent everything they can do, though.
Yeah, that's one that I would love to do a Kickstarter for, but also it would very much not be cool with Nintendo if we do a Kickstarter for.
Yeah. We'll just,
Give me one second.
we'll sell something else at the Kickstarter and then run away with the money.
All right. Next up, Jigglypuff versus Kirby. I think I like that one more than Mewtwo versus Sephiroth.
I think I'm traumatized by this episode and by Kirby. I think we did well with it, but I just hate Kirby so much. I hate his stupid games and his stupid pop star that changes sizes every time you see it.
I don't hate that as much as I hate it blatantly being inconsistent. And then people come in the comments and they're like, actually, it's not inconsistent at all. You just need to look at this one place that we looked as a team like for hours at. And people just don't think things through. And they're like, ho, you silly research team, you silly gooses, you missed this. Did you know that Kirby has a game on the DS? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's okay. I just don't... I was held back by how much I personally enjoyed the research process of that one. But I like the animation. I love the music. I think the setup for the fight was super fun.
I think it's better than Meta Knight versus Marth. I like it more than Sephiroth versus Mewtwo, I think.
I don't think I do, but I...
Let's put it in B tier for now.
All right.
Oh, Lucario versus Ryu is my favorite episode we've done.
Yeah, I think that's an S.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd put anything at double S.
Yeah, not yet.
But yeah, the music killed it. I feel like we did a good job with the research, and that was probably also the episode where we had most of our rules actually like formalized so we could make sure we were consistent.
Mm-hmm. I felt like it was a good debate, not blatantly one-sided.
I loved how the characters like interacted. They were just such a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. And was that our first episode with voice acting? No, Mewtwo versus Sephiroth was the first with voice acting. Fun fact, Sephiroth and Ryu are the same voice actor. Let's see. Jigs versus Curbs vs. Jigs and Sonic vs. Fox from a timeline is an absolute mess. They're posted out of timeline order. All right. Diddy Kong vs. Greninja. My thoughts on this are that it's just a good baseline episode of what I'd like all of ours to be. It's not my favorite by any means, but I feel like it's just a solid all-around episode.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think there was anything special about it, but there wasn't anything terrible about it. C tier?
I'd put it above C. I'd put it like a low B, I think.
Okay.
All right. What? You don't like Wario vs. Lucas?
I just know you love it. No, I liked it. I absolutely hated looking into Mother 3 statements.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It was just the worst. Mother 3 is a horrible, horrible game.
I feel like we got to represent pretty well how the characters would interact. Lucas is a character from a game that has a lot of really serious and depressing themes to it, but also a ton of goofiness to offset it. I feel like the matchup itself made a lot of sense and was very in character for both characters. I like that we got to show off how Lucas actually would fight rather than a Smash Bros. Moveset. I like that we got the 16-hit combo. I loved the music. I think I'd put it above Mewtwo versus Sephiroth. What would you say?
I think I'd put it below Mewtwo versus Sephiroth, but A tier seems good to me.
Above Jigs versus Kirby?
Yeah.
You loved the sudden death part of Ryu versus Lucario. Fun fact, I added that in the airport like an hour before I posted it.
Lucas does have coffee. It's what makes him universal. Multiversal? I don't remember.
Let's see. Hashtag stop Kirby abuse. Did you guys see Kirby in the Minecraft episode? It's super subtle.
It was only there for a couple of frames. I feel like most people missed it.
Probably. You guys did see it. Awesome. Mega Man versus Mario.
Like an F.
What? No, I like that one more than Ridley versus Link.
I mean, I don't necessarily know how drastically our take on these characters are going to change, but I think more so than any other episode, Mario versus Mega Man was a result of us saying, I know how these characters feel to me based on casually playing through the games, and we're just going to do that. And
yeah,
so we're like,
do that and link to the Because Science channel for our calculations.
Yeah. It just felt like we were like, Mario's like a plumber dude, and he breaks bricks and fights Goombas, so we're just going to ignore the Galaxy games, and we're going to ignore a lot of these feats because they feel really silly.
Well, and a lot of what it came down to basically just saying only looking at mainline Super Mario games. Anything that was referenced outside of that wasn't fair game.
I just feel like more than anything else we've done so far, the way that we've made our rules consistent has completely changed this. I don't think it's going to look anything the same, even if they end up at the exact same level. Just because we're looking at so much more in a much more intentional way, and we're putting meaningful thought into their feats rather than just
looking at respect threads.
I think that we did all of the research for that one in half a day. Mm-hmm. It just
that was back when it was just me and Lemon, and we were trying to balance it with me editing and scripting. We didn't have a team.
I don't even think we were really trying to do much of a versus series at that point. It was more just we were like, hey, we got a couple $100 from ads this month, and it was great, and we're going to throw that into animation, and that's it. We're not going to put much thought into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's my least favorite one.
Yeah, I think the characters are going to look much cooler when we actually get them in time. Although, things I do like that they each used a different power-up. They never used the same one each time. I like that we showed how they interacted, but I feel like that was too much of the episode. Just looking at, hey, power-up, hey, power-up, hey, power-up. I would love to show some of Mario's, platforming movement. I feel like we didn't get to show that off.
Oh, we need to have him using his Odyssey movement in the animation. That would look so great.
That would be awesome.
Odyssey movement and parkour.
Here's a question. What format, what style do you think would work best for Mario versus Mega Man? Sprite, hand-drawn, or 3D?
My answer is
Or claymation.
hand-drawn to every episode. It's just the best animation style, but costs so much money.
Sprite.
Yeah, they're all wrong.
Mario needs to punch Mega Man in the face at some point. Hey, we have that in our Sonic vs. Mario script, is Sonic punches Mario in his big, fat, stupid plumber nose. I was really tired when I wrote that. You also lowballed Mario to an extreme. I don't know how his stats are going to look different, but we just didn't do good enough research.
Yeah, I'm not even sure lowball is right. We just didn't look at what Mario could do.
One of my least favorite comments I get is about episodes we haven't done yet being like, well, why even do this as a massive stomp? Or like, regardless of what they say, this character wins. Or they might say this, but realistically, this character does this. Because it just shows they're going into it with an open mind, or with a closed mind. And regardless of like the hundreds of hours of work we do as a team, they don't care about any of that. They just care about reaffirming what they've seen in other places and rule sets and interpretations that are totally different than ours for something that's subjective. But anyway.
Is it DDD versus K Rool next?
Yes.
I would also stick that in D.
I think so too. I feel like our analysis for this was better than these two.
Yeah, I'd put it ahead of Mario and
Yeah. Yeah, I feel good about that.
Just not great overall, I think.
All right, this is the episode where we lowball the character the most.
I think so.
Falco versus Falcon. Holy crap, did we have no idea what Falco could do? Oh my gosh.
This one is like triple F tier for me.
What?
Because the thing is, we didn't include the F-Zero reference. We didn't include that Falco is canonically in a racing Grand Prix called the G0.
We should have done that.
And that just ruins it. Honestly, though, I would put it in D. We missed so much for Falco.
Yeah, we did. I liked the music. I thought it was funny that we used Rock Me Amadeus for Falco.
I still don't get it.
It's because it's by Falco.
Oh, is that the band name?
Yeah, the band name is Falco.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know anything about Star Fox. But yeah, we way lowballed Falco. For his speed, we used the speed stated for the R-Wing, which is Mach 4.2 in atmosphere. But we didn't take into account those are for standard issue, like Cornerian Fleet R-Wings. And the ones that the Star Fox team uses have been modified by Slippy, who's insane. We didn't look at Star Fox 2. We didn't look at any of his on-foot appearances.
We said Captain Falcon can punch just about as hard as a normal dude, and then had him break an R-Wing.
Yeah, I feel like we had about as much understanding of Star Fox here as most people in the Versus community do, which is to say,
I think
not
definitely
much.
less.
No.
Yeah.
I almost never hear anyone know what they're talking about at all with Star Fox.
I don't think most people would make it as slow or as weak as we did, though.
That's true. Anyway, I'd put it above this.
Yeah.
I think I'd put it...
I wouldn't put it in C.
Yeah. I like the animation. I think it's fun. We did a very bad job. Even just the size of the R-Wing. Like, Falcon sits in it and it's a bit too small for him. That thing's like 90 feet long.
It's huge.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's portrayed kind of inconsistently in the
And
games.
we missed the fact that Falco has like a signature ship besides just the R-Wing, the Skyclaw.
We missed so much.
Yep. Anyway, y'all are terrible at keeping fights consistent with your stats.
We sure are.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about consistency in round one at all. I'm worried about using it to make sure that we've got a good system in place going forward. And between losers bracket and future rounds, like, it'll all iron itself out.
Yeah, it's all working out. I love this one. I absolutely love this one.
I think I would put it in B tier.
I would also put it in B tier.
I know
think
people hate this, but
I would watch it. I'd be more likely to go back and watch this one than Diddy vs. Greninja.
I agree. Like, it's dumb, and the fight is, like, we weren't trying to make it a real fight.
But that's what would happen.
Be. Right.
Rob is just a joke character who, like, the whole point is he's this console, and they always have him in, like, weird places. But yeah, I love that episode. Lucina's one of my favorite characters. I'm glad I got to talk about her. I like the way we did Rob's analysis. I think we did just about as much as we could with that. Everyone puts that at like the very bottom of their list, but it's one of my favorites.
I think that I don't necessarily disagree with what we did with Rob, but I also want to just use a composite Rob with all his appearances in the future because it sounds more interesting, but I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. Slippy is smarter than Tails. I don't know much about Tails.
Okay,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Here's the problem with intelligence and inventors in fiction is that almost all of the time they're not smart. They're just magic, and they pretend that it's smart. They're like
with Slippy,
yeah, like one of the standouts for me is Tails in Sonic Colors. He like meets this alien race, and he's like, "Let me just whip up this device in 20 minutes to decode their language," and then he does. Except that it gives him the result in binary and it has errors that like translate it into the wrong English words that sound kind of close. Just not the kind of thing you would have as a realistic bug. And it's just because he's not inventing things. He's just using magic. So I don't know how to compare their intelligence.
That's the same with Slippy in Star Fox Adventures. Fox got trapped by these dinosaurs. He's like, "Slippy, I need a way out." And Slippy's like, "Oh, no worry, Fox. I've programmed a way to transform you into a dinosaur, and it's in your wrist."
Don't use that.
Now.
Voice. Don't use that.
Just how he talks.
I hate it.
Let's see. Lucina versus Rob was a sad fight. There's not much else you could have done unless you wanted to change canon and make it inaccurate. I'm happy with how we did it. I'd probably do it the same way again.
I do think the animation is probably our least fun one to watch through, at least multiple times. Like, it's fun as a joke, but if you're going in expecting a real full animation and that's what you get, it's pretty disappointing.
Fun fact, that animation on YouTube has a 130% retention rate.
Oh, that means we should make all our battles 5 seconds long.
Let's see. How long have you been animating to get this far? We work with a bunch of different animators. I do not animate. I did pivot animation when I was much younger.
Ink animated some stuff for the Minecraft video, though. Your 3D analysis.
Oh, yeah. Technically. Not for the fight, but...
Yeah.
All right, Fox versus Sonic. I think this is a good episode. I think that if we remade this episode today without having our canon rules expanded, it would largely look the same with a couple of small differences. I think the perception of this is that the research was bad, and honestly, it wasn't. Like, people might disagree, and if you don't like how we did our research on it, really people don't have an issue with the research, they have an issue with interpretations.
I don't like how we did the research on that.
What?
I'm not happy with it.
I think we undersold Fox for sure.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like the Sonic stuff was a lot more solid. But I don't know, I did like almost all of the research for that in like a week without sleep, and it was horrible.
So you're not happy with the research or the process of getting the research?
Well, I'm not happy with the research. I feel like the process led to it being bad. This was the episode where I really started like actually getting into doing calculations myself, and there are a lot of errors because of that. Nothing that is game-changing, I think, but enough that I don't think many things will hold up when we go back and double-check my work.
So people are going to hear you say this and think, wow, they really didn't look into Solaris enough. That's not what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. I looked into Solaris far more than I wanted to, and more than he deserves. But I don't know, it's just, I feel like the episode just, it wasn't a fun process to make for me.
Yeah, we scripted it way too early before we knew anything about either character, assuming it would be a stomp for Sonic.
The animation was bad because of that. Like, I think our animators did a good job with it, but our fight was bad.
Fox wasn't well represented at his actual capabilities until he was in space.
Neither was Sonic.
And Sonic, he basically, he didn't use any of his interesting stuff.
Right.
He was just speeding around and memeing, which, to be honest, I think that's how he would fight.
Like, I think the big problem for me with this episode is that so much of the time spent on the research was basically just spent debunking Sonic stuff. Because there are more arguments for Sonic than I've seen for anything else. I think that's because the Mario people have laid down for a while to rest.
They're just waiting.
They are. Robot's in the corner preparing all his documents that he makes to unleash at once when we get to that point. But yeah, I don't feel like our focus was right for how we showed off the characters in the animation. I feel like I don't think our focus was right in how we presented the info, because we felt like we had to spend a long time saying Sonic is not like this. It's not like you think. He's like this. And that's just...
And I think I've gotten a lot better at scripting and pacing, and I'm still not sure how I'm going to handle Sonic. Because so much of Sonic in Versus is like his own character distinct from real Sonic.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it'll be better with expanded canon because he has real feats now.
Yeah. If you could go back and change 3 things about the episode, like top 3 things, what would they be?
What do you mean things? Like
in the animation.
In the animation?
Like concepts you would want to hit on, interactions.
I would give Sonic way more of his power-ups instead of just running fast. I would give Fox weapons that came from his games instead of the random assets we used. And I would... I feel like I would want to play into the Starlink stuff more because that's just super cool.
Starlink is so cool. What I would do is I would show more of how Fox can stand on his own without needing the R-Wing. In the original animation, we just had him getting just trashed until he got in his ship. And I don't think that's how it would go. At the very least, he has a lot of things up his sleeve. He's really capable. And I think even if Sonic ends up losing, I feel like it would feel better for fans of Sonic. I feel like it would feel better for viewers if Fox puts up more of a fight on his own outside of the R-Wing rather than him just getting trashed until he gets an R-Wing and then all of a sudden stands a chance. But he's got a lot of really cool stuff, especially with Crystal's staff.
They're both just really cool characters.
Yeah, they really are.
I'm very excited for that. Let's make that animation 15 minutes long. We can commit to that, right? 15 minutes hand-drawn by Disney?
Yeah. Anyway, where are we putting it?
C tier for me, I think.
I think I enjoy it more than... In isolation, I enjoy it more than Diddy Kong versus Greninja, but the flaws that do stick out, like how poorly Fox was represented, how few abilities Sonic used, I think it holds it back for me. I think I'd also probably say high C tier.
I think I would rather watch that episode again than all of B tier, but that I don't like what we did in the animation. Like, our approach, I'm just not happy with it, so I don't like it as a whole.
It was in development hell, I think, more than anything else we made. Fox is the best person to go against Sonic. It really is a good, like... This could be like a good round 4 battle, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right.
Double S, I think.
I love this one.
It's so good.
Like, yeah, the animation has some issues. Like, it's not top quality animation. And also, we had 2,000 subscribers when we made this. Like, with what we were working with, I think we did a really good job on it. I love it. I think the animation is great.
It's my favorite animation. I feel like the fight is just so fun.
Like, I know a lot of people dislike it. A lot of people say, like, it's a trash animation. They never exchanged a single hit. But that's what I love about it. It has my single favorite shot in all of Smash Bracket. I'm going to pull it up. It's so cool that we autocomplete rank.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay. So this shot right here, it's about to happen. That is my favorite shot in all of Smash Bracket.
It's so good.
I think it's so funny. And I love what he added with this bird here. This script was originally, I was planning on it being 10 seconds long. Just really short. And he went above and beyond. The music hits way harder than it needs to. The alternate ending is great. I absolutely love this one. And like, we could have added more textures to the background, but honestly, with what we had, I am super happy with it.
I feel like the simplistic backgrounds work really well for an Animal Crossing animation too.
That's true. Isabelle versus Ganondorf shouldn't be ranked because it's not fair to the rest of the episodes. Oh man, I love that one. I love it so much. All right, Pikachu versus Pac-Man. Pikachu's analysis really holds this one back for me. It's my least favorite analysis I've ever done, I think.
Yeah.
like even with Link versus Ridley and these other early ones, like the analysis doesn't hold up today, but I felt like I was being authentic and doing it the best that I could. And in this one, I felt like I was just trying to be something that I wasn't, and it came across really weird. Pac-Man's was a lot better, but Pikachu's holds it back for me.
I don't think it was bad. I like that you are willing to try different things that are not your usual. I think that helps us grow in general. And I feel like you have, like, since that episode, I feel like you've kind of dialed back the weirdness from Pikachu's side and turned it into a benefit that you can weave into other things, just less severe. So I've liked that.
I think it's one that I needed to make in order to get better, but I think it definitely felt the weight of it.
I don't think it's fun.
Yeah.
People are saying the Koopalings are just reskins. Those guys are insane.
And
I thought they were reskins, and then we did research, and they're so cool.
they really are. It's going to be a great battle.
That's how so many of these go. I'm like, these guys are stupid, and then I learn about the characters, and I'm like, oh, it's really cool.
I would love to do that one in SFM, but I don't know if that's going to work out.
Yeah. Anyway, I
would put this one
fan.
above Meta Knight versus Marth for me.
That's fair.
I think the animation is more cohesive than Sonic versus Fox, but I think I have more fun watching Sonic versus Fox.
I agree.
Even if it doesn't... Sonic versus Fox, it really doesn't feel like an accurate version of either character.
But it is fun versions of those characters.
Man, although this episode, it started an addiction of looking into Star Fox lore.
Banjo versus Yoshi. I am not a big fan of the animation because it's so goofy, and I don't like that.
It also is a bit meme heavy for me.
It is. The sound design is not my cup of tea. It's too many memes.
But also, like...
But it's really well done.
There's a ton of passion put into it. Like, Abami went so hard on it, and it shows, I think.
And I don't know. I don't think it's bad for those characters. It's just not my personal preference.
I think it's...
I'm not sure how I feel about the analysis. I think it was probably wrong to not bring up Banjo's transformations. Like, they're pretty iconic, even if we felt like they weren't usable. So that was... All right.
What do you think?
I don't know if I think I'd just keep B tier large.
Okay.
I don't think I'd put Kirby up there.
I think I enjoy Kirby more than this one.
Yeah.
Although I think I enjoy Rob versus Lucina more than it.
I think I agree. I really like Banjo versus Yoshi because it's very popular.
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is my baseline here of what, if anything's above this, I'm happy. And I think last we have Minecraft Battle Royale.
I would... I'd put that high B or low A, I think. I feel like we did really, really well with the presentation and the research on it. There were a lot of problems that we could have done better with, like saying our sources for a lot of the stuff from the books. Would have definitely been a good idea.
I learned so much as an editor on that video. Like, it was a really good one for me, I think, in terms of the future of our series. I think I prefer Jigglypuff versus Kirby to that one, though.
I definitely prefer the analysis in the Minecraft Battle Royale, but I prefer the animation in Kirby versus Jigglypuff. I think we did really well for our first SFM animation on the channel, and I don't think I like the 3D animation.
I also think that it's my favorite analysis, actually. Stop Kirby abuse. Never. It's funny. I think I'd put it here, just because I do really enjoy the analysis. And if you had to rank Bill Cipher versus Sephiroth, where would you put it? I think I'd put it right in between these two.
That's what I was thinking.
But yeah, what do you guys think of the tier list? Someone screenshot this.
I loved going through Gravity Falls. I know you hate it and say it's the worst show ever, but I thought it was good.
I don't say that. Here, we're going to screenshot that. All right, how's Joker versus Snake going? It's coming along nicely. Yeah, it's due to be finished in 5 days. I don't know if it's going to be or if it's going to be delayed. I'm hoping it will be finished.
We'll see.
But yeah, should we take a quick break, take a few more questions, and then watch through Deadliest Warrior?
Sure.
Cool. Then yeah, we will be right back. All right, we are back. Yeah, that was a little sneak peek at Joker versus Snake. I'm really excited for it. That didn't have the melody put in, and I think we still need horns. But that's what we want to get the live orchestra on. I'm really, really excited for it. Let's see. What else have we missed? Alex's model issues took a lot out of me. I liked the model. If having orange lips on a model ruins the video for you, then that's just how it's going to be. But there's only so much we can do. Like, unless we can drop a few $100s for models on top of the animations, which we can't, we just got to work with what we have. And if that ruins it for you, then that ruins it for you.
If the models bother you, go sign up for that Audible subscription.
Yeah.
The free trial gives us money.
It's such a good deal. I was wrong. We don't get $10. We get 15.
15.
Even
really?
if they don't, like, even if you guys don't actually ever pay for anything, just do the free trial and immediately cancel, we still get $15.
That is, like, so good. No one does that. That's why you see Audible ads everywhere.
Yeah. Kirby is a small pink puffball who only wants to spread love. I believe that more than him being a malicious destroyer of worlds.
He's not a malicious destroyer of worlds. He's an innocent destroyer of worlds.
Yeah. Anyway, so we are going to be watching the original Versus series. I really do think this is the first one.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Is Deadliest Warrior. This episode is Season 3, Episode 3, George Washington versus Napoleon Bonaparte. It is 42 minutes long, so we may need to do this in a couple parts if it gets
just
to be too much.
watch it at 3 times speed.
That we could do that, but we shouldn't. Yeah, let's go ahead and get this started then. I remember nothing about this. It was airing in like the late 2000s.
I remember I watched it and thought it was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was so cool.
That's it.
Picture like versus battles, but instead of fictional characters for the most part, it's real life figures and also on network television. And that's this. I'm so curious to see how they handle stuff. All right, how's the volume? I think you might be hearing some reverb.
George Washington and his Continental Army versus Napoleon Bonaparte and his Grande Armée. Both of them were fighting in the Age of Revolutions, only 20 years apart, but never met on the battlefield until today.
I think this is inspired Death Battle, actually.
Figures, the generals of generals.
Napoleon was driven, he was obsessed with war, and he wanted to take all of Europe and make it his. When you think of George Washington, that ability to be patient,
I'm
to
so
motivate
curious to
his
see how they
troops
approach
against
stuff.
the British, essentially
Yeah, I
led
have
America
no idea.
to
I feel like it's
become
going to
its
be
own independent
very different
nation.
approach than what we're used
One
to.
becomes known
I
as
think
the
so.
father of his country. The other becomes
Battle
known as the
Hitler.
god of war. I think this is going to be the
That's
best
not
matchup.
fair.
in
I
the World
love
War.
epic rap battles.
Napoleon Bonaparte, the bloodthirsty French emperor, whose maniacal dream was to conquer the world.
So go look
George
at
Washington,
Oversimplified
the American
Histories
hero
video
who
on
against
Napoleon
all odds
Bonaparte
defeated
because
the
it's
mighty
actually
British
crazy.
Army.
It's so well
Now,
done.
200 years of speculation will be buried
Napoleon was
when
a
these
crazy
two
dude.
titans of war
Yeah,
finally face off.
Napoleon would be like surrounded by a bunch of armies, and they're like, "We have you surrounded. Surrender." And he'd be like, "No," and go and bring his armies against each of them independently, take them out, and try to turn France into like this huge empire.
Deadliest.
And he kept winning.
To find out, the history of war and modern science collide. As former Navy SEAL Richard
I haven't even heard of
Macklewitz
Haloid.
dives deep into
I
the
remember
tactics of
hearing,
the warriors behind the weapons.
It wasn't Ben Singer, but it was someone
Biomedical
else who was
engineer
involved
Jeff D.
executively in
Malin
it.
applies
I thought he
21st
said
century technology to unlock
this was
new
an
data
inspiration.
on arsenals of the past. And
So I
PR
think they
physician Armand Dorian dissects the trauma
actually
and
recreate their
reveals
weapons
the physical and
and look at what they
psychological
do.
traits
That would
that
be so
shaped these legends of war.
Yeah, I don't
This
know
groundbreaking
what
data
kind of content we're going to get in
with
this.
historical
It's
research
TV-14,
and entered into an all-new digital
but
combat
also
engine. Two
they
legendary
got away with
combatants will
some
be
pretty bad
resurrected.
stuff in the
History will be
2000s on
rewritten.
TV as far as what's socially acceptable. So just keep that in mind. This is not an
Prepare for
endorsement of what we see.
Dissect
I want to
the
look at
trauma
their characters.
and
that they
reveals
had.
the physical and psychological traits that shaped these legends of war. This groundbreaking data will be paired with historical research
we had the
and
budget to do
entered
crap
into
like
an
that.
all-new
Let's see.
digital combat engine.
So they say that they put it into a digital combat analysis. I don't believe them.
Nope.
And if they did, I guarantee it didn't look like this.
It's a totally accurate battle simulator.
So
That's
wait, let's see.
amazing.
Warrior data. So we have our characters split up into some different things. They've got generalship, fieldcraft, deception, initiative, interception, precision, lethality, intimidation, dominance, physicality, total weight, speed, preferred setting. I mean, this is really interesting to see.
I can believe they like take all of this stuff into account.
I wonder if they...
I just don't believe they have like a computer they put this into and it tells them who wins.
I wonder if they're weighted differently. Like, I could see if it's like a spreadsheet and they just arbitrarily come up with these numbers and then take whoever has the higher total.
Engine.
Yeah.
2 legendary combatants will be resurrected. History will be rewritten.
Napoleon
Only
Solar's
one
Dragon Ball.
will be crowned Deadliest Warrior.
He does view them as fiction.
Welcome to
I've
the
never even
fight
heard of
club.
Halo.
Here, our experts will unlock historical secrets and battlefield strategies to decide which Revolutionary Age general is deadliest.
So is it the
Napoleon
general
Bonaparte,
themselves or
the brutal
their army?
French warlord and emperor who
think this one is
terrorized
the-
Europe and left
both of
millions dead in his bloody wake? Or George Washington, America's first general-turned-president, who waged an unconventional guerrilla war that defeated the British Empire and created the world.
I feel like Washington wasn't
Nation.
known for being
This
a
is
super
special episode
great
to me because you're talking
commander,
about two
more
of maybe the greatest generals
what he
in
did for U.S. history.
When you think of Napoleon, you understand
he was
his
supposed to be a
brilliance
good
on the battlefield, and it's still studied
But
today.
I'm the witch of
Washington
history,
takes
so
necessity and turns it into
I
a
could be
virtue
wrong.
against the most powerful army at that time.
I'm going to try
That
on
these guys
captions.
are larger than life figures. And so I like breaking it down and actually looking at the tail of the tape. George Washington was 6'3", 200 pounds. That's a big guy for his time. And then you compare Napoleon. You know, he has that reputation of being this short guy. Actually, he was 5'6". He wasn't that short, about 140 pounds. But then when we look at their own personal health, disaster. George Washington.
I think
dealt
that's
with
everyone.
malaria. He had
Dang, they gave him
smallpox as a
malaria for
child.
his fight?
Napoleon had severe insomnia. Not
Can you
because you're
imagine
gonna be-
if we're like, you know, Link has a lot of strengths, but in a medieval setting, he probably had dysentery, and then we give that to him.
General. For me,
That would
it's
definitely
about the
make things look
weapons, and
different.
these guys operate in the age of revolutions. That means we are talking about cannons. There's no question, guys, that this is going to be one of our best matchups yet, but we've got to make sure that it's set up properly for the sim.
The new digital combat engine was created by former Green Beret and military-based game designer
Yeah,
Robert
press
Daly.
F to doubt. Military-based
high-tech
game
engine
designer?
will-
What? No, you're making crap up.
The new digital combat
I've heard
engine
the military
was
uses
created by
games to
former
train.
Green Beret and
I've
military-based
not heard
game
that from
designer
anyone in the military,
Robert
though,
Daly.
just from the internet.
His
Robert
latest high-tech
Daly.
creation.
All right, so they really want us to think they do this. Detrimental. So how are they calculating the battlefield? Or is this how they do in... Oh, so this is how they do in different terrains. Like, that's actually not a bad idea.
Will incorporate complex weapons data, damage probabilities, and more than 100 different X factors. Critical intangibles that are given
an X
numeric
factor?
values based on analysis of the warrior's lives,
like a variable?
tactics, and psychological profiles.
When you look at both Washington and Napoleon, the biggest X
I'm
factor
looking
you're
this
going
guy
to look
up.
at is generalship. One dealt with limited resources and had to fight a guerrilla war with the British. On the other hand, you have Napoleon, who's moving large bodies of troops over massive areas.
Doing battle for Napoleon, Revolutionary War era musket and sword specialist.
He's the show's
Matthew
producer.
Cake.
Napoleon was a god of war. His equipment was the best. His tactics were unbeatable.
Matt,
and his
what's the
men were
longest death
best
battle
trained
episode? I
that
wonder.
there was at the time.
Unlocking
Probably
the secrets of
Goku versus
Napoleon's
Steve.
battlefield strategies, historian Philippe Simon.
Napoleon went to l'École Militaire de Paris, one of the most prestigious army schools, where he learned how to be a #1 swordsman and rifleman. His training was impeccable.
Napoleon's
This is
ingenious
actual found
battlefield
footage, by the
tactics
way.
are legendary.
He changed the concept
Just found an
of
old
the army.
smartphone lying around on
He
the
was
battlefield.
convinced that artillery and cavalry could easily take over any infantry regiment anywhere in Europe.
In the early 1800s, Napoleon marched across Europe, crushing every army in his path.
He really wanted to destroy you. He didn't want you to run away. He didn't want to have a second battle.
Did he just shoot them with a
to finish
cannon?
it.
In 1804,
That's what you do with
Napoleon
cannons.
proclaimed
Like a
himself
single
emperor
person?
for life and launched a vicious reign of terror that killed more than 2 million people.
That's actually like a relatively crazy durability feat for those guys'
In
body.
1804,
Like shooting them in the
Napoleon
back and they
proclaimed
just fall
himself
over.
Emperor for life, and
hit
launched
the
a
ground.
vicious reign of terror
Wow.
that killed more than 2 million people. Now, we'll witness one of history's most dreamed about
If I
battles.
remember right,
The bloodthirsty
Napoleon's most
emperor
dangerous
and
weapon
France's
was
most
the winter
formidable
in
foe,
Russia.
The
I
gentleman
think that's why
warrior,
he won that one.
General George Washington. Wielding Washington's weapons, competitive swordsman and 18th century firearms expert Paul
because of the
Suda.
winter.
Washington had a very clear goal in mind.
no, I
He
think
set
he was
himself
going to
to
lose, and the
accomplish
winter
that
saved
goal with the
him.
resources that he had.
Maybe I'm wrong.
He came in with less than he wanted
Oh, wait,
and ended
I
up
think I'm
winning the war.
I thought
Analyzing
every story
Washington's
about
life
wars in
and
Russia
war
was that
tactics.
they were losing,
Retired
and
Army
then winter
officer
happened, and everyone who
University of
wasn't
North
Russian
Carolina
died.
history
because
professor
winter in Russia is
Dr.
terrible.
Wayne Lee.
Sounds about right.
Washington's a big
When can we
guy.
take that into account?
Presence on the battlefield, the way he carried
In
himself.
Russian winters?
In the
Yeah,
18th
Russian
century,
winters.
That really meant a lot to people.
As a young man, Washington fought for the British Army during the French and Indian War. He discovered firsthand the deadly advantage of his native enemies'
I would love to
hit-and-run
do
strategies.
Justice League versus Avengers. I think we do a
Years
good
later,
job on that.
in 1775,
That
as
sounds
commander of the
so bad
Continental
to
Army in
research.
America's War of Independence,
I'd want to do
Washington
DCU
used these same
versus
lethal
MCU.
guerrilla tactics to gain an edge against the British. Outmanned and outgunned, he backed up his larger
Hey, this
conventional
is
army with
The
small
inspired
units of
Hamilton.
statesmen.
We are outgunned, outmanned. That's probably a phrase
I bet that
they
was
say a
never
lot.
said anywhere but here.
That's what I'm thinking, actually.
Missions.
He's going to use that militia in ways that are a little bit more unconventional. Raids on a detachment here, raid on a detachment there. They cover the ground and make it difficult for the British to operate. And then you create a moment when you can use your conventional army to try to fight that big battle, to win in the end.
How's he often
Washington's
fights in the
hybrid
Russian
combination
winter.
worked,
Therefore, he
and in
beats Sora.
1783,
Makes sense to
the
me.
British surrendered. A new nation was born,
I couldn't fight
and
in the
its
Russian
greatest general became its first president.
We're using this historical data in the simulator this year, but to make it complete,
I
we've
really
gotta
don't
get
believe
you
they have
some
the
weapons
simulator.
data.
Warfare
like
in the
the Red Train.
Revolutionary Age was
Yeah.
dominated by long-range
I do
cannon
believe
fire.
they have one. Just
Now, these battlefield titans'
It's
heavy
not
artillery
what they're-
will go
I'm looking
head
it
to
up.
head.
You be entertained.
General Napoleon will blast
I'm
off
not
this battle with the 8-pound cannon, machine bored for maximum lethal
oh, I want to see this actually.
precision.
Machine board for precision.
Called an 8.
I've been looking
go
into
head to
cannons
head.
lately.
General Napoleon will blast off this battle with the 8-pound cannon,
This doesn't seem to
machine
actually give the info you need to figure out how strong it is.
bored for maximum
long range,
lethal precision.
It's called an 8-pounder because it shoots 8-pound cannonballs. It is about 6 foot long, which makes
That
it
hurt
very
so
accurate.
much.
The bore is about 106 millimeter.
Oh, I found
the
an
bore
AMA
itself
with
is
the
only
producer.
103. So the precision of the shots were extreme due to the expertise of those builders.
Napoleon was a master of artillery. As a junior officer, Napoleon spent hours and hours, days after day, studying cannon ballistic.
Napoleon's 8-pound cannon will be tested in an explosive shootout against Washington's 6-pound
This is
cannon.
a much cooler way to compare stats than just doing calculations.
Recreating them?
Yeah. There's no reason to do this.
Are there any characters we could do this for?
We know both of these weapons
Not
would
with
have
our
been
budget.
crew served, so we're gonna
Maybe
have
Nacho
two of our
Libre
armors to
versus
help you out.
Paul Blart.
Forrest
Yeah.
Taylor, one of the world's premier weapons artificers, has painstakingly recreated Napoleon's 200-year-old cannon.
Like,
Each
there's
weapon
really no reason to do
fired from a
this
deadly
other
effective
than just
distance of
showmanship.
200 yards.
Take a
But
look down
it's so
range.
cool.
To test the accuracy and destructive capabilities of the 8-pounder, the Napoleon team will fire 4 cannonballs at a set of blue targets.
Yeah, they actually had
Primary target
a
is a
simulator
2-man
he
artillery
programmed.
unit. Beyond that, an officer's quarters,
I mean,
containing 4
sure,
more
but
targets, will gauge the cannonball
didn't sell the
shrapnel
victor.
damage.
Yeah.
Fire at will.
Maybe I could just turn
actually surprised it went that
power
high,
cards
man.
into a simulator.
First shot tears
would
through
give us
the
a lot of
officer's
credibility.
quarters
Yeah.
and digs up the hillside, but it misses every target.
Having a simulator like that would
Follow the
actually be a
pace.
really cool visual,
Reloading
and I
is a
don't think it would
dangerous
be that hard.
process that can't be rushed.
Like to
First,
use in the
the
videos.
leather thumb jacket seals the back
I think
of
it'd
the
be
gun
pretty
as
easy
the
to make
barrel
with like
is cleared of any
CSS
debris.
animation.
Clear.
A damp sponge creates
I
a
don't know
vacuum
enough about
to
that.
kill any live
I think
embers.
stylish. might be
Advance the rounds.
Black powder charge and cannonball are inserted and carefully rammed. A vent pick pierces the charge, and the hole is packed with more black powder
How could we,
to trigger the
like,
round.
how could you even do something like this? Actually, we got that. That's the most male thing I've ever seen.
Second shot. Direct
Oh,
hit.
dang!
Napoleon
What
team
would
reloads
the
a cannon
gunman's
to try to
bullet
take out the primary target.
I think we're right on it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
They're not even hitting it accurately.
2 hits.
Oh,
Did you
One
see
artillery,
the
never mind.
one
the
officer
video I
inside.
linked
I'm
about
talking about.
the comparison
Right
for
here.
that gun?
no.
You should check that
The point of the exercise was to take out the
I
target.
would
You've
love
clearly
to do
done
something
that.
like this.
Look at this guy. And don't forget
Me
the
too. I think what would you
psychological
do it
impact
for?
of seeing the first guy take
I mean,
that
we could
round,
do it for
right?
whatever we
then
wanted.
That guy gets
The
replaced
problem
with
is
another
budget.
guy. The second ball comes through and rips that guy in half. And then
There
the
are
third ball
facilities
comes
where you
through
can
and
rent-
rips your
rent
cannon down.
tanks and
When
drive
you're
them
talking
around
about
and
the
shoot
X
'em.
factors of psychological warfare
That sounds like
and
a working
domination.
sentence.
You've got both of them that will plug into the sim.
And then think
might be
about
able to,
accuracy back. Look at
work
the
that
grouping
into
we have here in this
Kentucky
tight
numbers,
space.
actually.
Some rifles aren't this good, and this 8-pound ball was able to hit 3 targets in a
wonder if
small
we
group
could.
like this, 200 yards out. Take a look
That's
here.
what I'm talking about.
He's decapitated by a cannonball. Then he's got shrapnel right into his chest.
The main difference between Napoleon and Washington is Napoleon had trained.
I wonder how you could
soldiers.
like power
So
scale
there's no
Napoleon and
way
Washington
George
with,
Washington
like, versus
could compete with
traditional
our
versus.
accuracy and our technique.
Super well.
What do you think, Wayne?
We're going to be able
One of
to
my
basically do
favorite
the same
things
kind
I've
of
heard
damage with a lighter cannon.
To
It's
point
gonna
out
be
the
a lot more
unreliability of
maneuverable.
statements in
Will you be
general
using apples
is that
or
there is
oranges?
this like
Coming up,
mining explosion
Carnage continues as the battle
And-
heats up.
This guy's just completely
in the
obliterated.
1800s or something.
Body count
He was like, this
rises
guy
in a
completely
bloody
obliterated,
firing
and it's a
line
cardboard
showdown.
cutout.
Commander's down.
Nice.
Gee,
Carnage continues as the battle heats up.
This guy's just completely obliterated.
And later, the body count rises in a bloody firing line
But
showdown.
the newspapers put out like
Napoleon,
coverage of this explosion,
Washington,
and they're like,
who is
the miners were
deadliest?
reduced to atoms by the explosion, which is obviously just hyperbole.
Napoleon
but
Bonaparte,
I really
the
want to use
merciless
it
Emperor
for
of
our
France.
composite
His brutal
human
strategy of
episodes.
annihilation
That would be
demolished his
fantastic.
enemies. Versus General George
let's see.
Washington,
What do you think of
the
this question?
legendary
I'm
leader
kinda
of the
thinking
Continental Army,
either Archie Sonic or
faced
Saitama.
with sick and deserting troops
Well,
in the
or
brutal winter of
I don't think
1777
Saitama
at
is
Valley
actually
Forge. Washington's
thought of as very
determined
strong
leadership rallied crucial
by
resources
people in
and
the
pulled them through
community.
to ultimate
I would
victory.
definitely say Archie
Been
Sonic
through the
from what I've
real
looked at
depths
so
of
far.
despair and
Just
the
a
early
lot of
parts of the war with
misunderstandings.
defeat after defeat.
Just,
But
yeah.
nevertheless, he's got this commitment. He's
Just a
going to
lot of
stay the
wrong
course.
stuff.
And Washington's personal qualities were really fundamental to his success.
In a test of damage and accuracy, Napoleon's 8-pound cannon.
They went
leaves
all
little
out
doubt
to
why
show
he
this
was
one
known as
cannon.
the god of war.
I mean, if you're building a custom
Washington
cannon,
had a much
you gotta
lighter
get a lot of
and
footage
more
from it.
mobile big gun in his arsenal. The 6-pound cannon, the fast-moving gun that forced Britain to wave the white flag.
Well, Washington's 6-pound cannon fires a 6-pound cannonball. The gun itself is cast from bronze. It's much lighter than its iron counterpart. It's about 1,200 pounds for the entire piece.
Washington knows he needs cannons, but they're not available. So they take the materials literally from church bells, from bronze fittings on ships, and most famously, the statue of King George in New York
I
City.
wonder if this really
They
is
melt
like
it,
the first
They're pouring it into a
versus
mold
show.
around a piece of wood.
You think we
And
got
that can
any
have
of
an
that
effect on
word?
its accuracy. But it's a thing that Washington has to do.
I'm
They've
sure
got no
someone
other
would
choice.
know.
You use what you've got.
The Washington team will fire 4 cannonballs at a set of red targets 200 yards downrange. Their primary target is the cannon. 2 artillery soldiers and 4 officers inside the quarters are secondary objectives. The Washington team needs to top Napoleon's score of 3 soldiers and the cannon.
Fire at will!
Hey, we got some epic rap battle of history quotes coming. I love
First shot
that one.
blasts through both walls and tears up the hillside. But it is high.
I
and
would
misses
love for
the
this show to get
targets.
rebooted.
It's
I
like
would
a
watch it.
miniature cannon to compare to ours.
It's not how big it is.
I would like
buddy,
to see
it's
this
how you
with
use
fictional
it.
characters, but as handled by people with television.
Oh, not part of the porch roof.
Like,
down.
if you
Shot
took
2,
this team and put them in
also
charge
high.
of Mario versus
It
Sonic,
hits the house.
I would love to
misses
see what they
the
would do.
primary target.
That'd be
We're
great.
at 1.5 degrees.
I think it would
I
be
wanna get
very
to 2
grounded
degrees.
to evolve.
The team uses an elevation
That
gauge
sounds great.
to lower the angle of
Like,
trajectory.
they would show
good. All right, hold it
breaking
right
a
there.
brick by
We're
jumping
down.
into it or something. Or what a Sonic Boom would do.
The third
The
shot
problem is
scores
just
2 instant kills
that a lot of
inside.
things aren't possible.
I'd say that's
Like, I
on
don't think
target.
it
Lower
is
the
possible
elevation
for
and bring it a
Mario
little
to
to the
break
right.
a brick.
The team
by
only
jumping
has
into
1
it.
chance left
I
to
think
destroy
his body would
the
just
enemy
crumple
cannon.
first.
You're gonna hit it on this one. I feel it.
Ready.
I hope you
He's
do
still
that.
just testing this cannon.
That's all this episode is. It's the cannon. It is a different one.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I feel like they finally got the budget for cannons, and they just wanted to get as many
It doesn't
as they
matter what
can.
these two guys are doing. They can no longer.
Does anyone else
function
feel
on
like
the
they're
battlefield
missing
with
them
their
with every
cannon.
shot?
Instant kill right here.
Oh.
And take a look at the wall. It's completely shattered there, which means tons of shrapnel. All those are going to increase the chance of death.
The accuracy that we're getting is very comparable to Napoleon, and given Washington's logistical situation, he's getting the same amount of damage.
Your cannon is 400 pounds lighter than Napoleon's cannon, and that has to factor in when it comes to fatigue, and fatigue is an X factor in our sim.
Our bore was actually
I hate the
drilled
term
by
X
experts,
factor.
I
making
do
it very
as well.
smooth and precise.
I do like that they
Their
factor
cannon
in
is
fatigue
not
and
as accurate
endurance,
as ours, you know, just from the building of it.
Teams are locked in a virtual dead heat. The clash of the cannons. will
Wait,
be
why
decided
does
by
George
one
Washington only get 2 men?
No, that's how many it
Precise.
takes to
Their
operate the
cannon
cannon.
is not
Oh,
as accurate as
okay.
ours, you know, just from the building of it.
Teams are locked in a
Yeah, 6-pound cannon.
Or
hits
maybe
8 pounds.
that's how many he hit in that?
I don't
virtual
know.
dead heat. The clash of the cannons will be decided by one final test: anti-personnel ammunition.
This,
Shorter
I feel like
range
this is a
shrapnel
good
rounds widen the field of fire, increasing
approximation.
the carnage as enemy infantry closed in.
I think it's just meant
Napoleon
to
used grape shot. Grape shots are a bunch of
just meant to
pellets.
show
He acts like a
the
shotgun
range,
blast,
not the damage to a human.
propelling itself over a wide area to demoralize the troop right away.
Well, you know, Washington would love to have grape shot, but the logistics was a major problem for him, and he uses scatter shot. So he's going to take anything he can get, nails, chain, you shove that down the barrel, and at close range, when it comes out of that thing, it's going to do a lot of
I did not
damage.
know that.
Well,
That's
great,
like
'cause we're going to test
a grenade
both the
cannon.
damage and dispersion pattern of Washington's scatter shot and Napoleon's grape shot. And you'll each get
I don't
one
know the difference
shot to
between
take
those
out the
two.
targets.
They just
Targets: 15 charging enemy
The
soldiers.
grape shot is
Napoleon
basically
crew,
real
you'll be up
ammo
first with
test
the grape
spreads,
shot.
and the scatter shot is them putting everything in their pockets.
Wouldn't that be embarrassing if the scatter shot's
Nice
better?
job, Napoleon crew. We're gonna go immediately to the Washington crew. Are you ready? Ready? Fire at will.
This entire episode is them shooting a cannon and being like, it exploded! And this guy just
Dr.
flat out
Dorian
does not
checks
want to
the
be here.
damage from
Whoever has the
Napoleon's
blonde hair,
grape
like,
shot.
One instant
His
kill,
reactions
two
each
instant
time
kills
are
in his
just-
face, another instant kill, another one face, chest, that's 5, 6. So total, guys, 8 out of 15 instant kills.
And how deadly was Washington's scatter shot round?
How do you think
Look
the
at this.
community
This
would
guy
take
has
to
a
it if we
huge
made an
piece
episode
torn
like
right out.
this?
This is a
I feel like they
guaranteed
would hate
instant
it.
kill. Looks like most of that must have come straight through the middle because this guy's just
I
completely
feel like we'd get very
obliterated.
mixed
Little
reactions.
scratch on his ear, nothing here, and nothing here. This guy is down. This is the 4th instant kill, so we got 4 out of 15
You know what we could do this
here.
for
So
is
4 out of
Min Min versus
15,
Little
But
Man.
I think the biggest factor
yeah?
here
That would
for
be
me
one of the more
is the
feasible
very narrow dispersion pattern.
I think you want this to scatter as much as possible, and when you look at the grape shot, I think it speaks for itself right there.
Absolutely.
Napoleon's
I don't think they've
8-pound
ever done
cannon
either of those
or
two.
Washington's 6-pound cannon. Which one do our experts believe gives its warrior the edge?
When you're looking at basically an improvised cannon, you gotta give credit to Washington for being able to adapt, improvise, and overcome. But Napoleon
That
is
sounds
the
like pity
master
points.
of artillery. It's obvious in our test.
I think that's
8
literally
guys
what it was.
versus 4 guys down when you compare the grape shot versus the scatter shot. I have
feel
to
like
give my
Napoleon's
edge
got
to
this.
Napoleon's cannon.
For long-range weapons,
Napoleon was
edge,
just
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Yeah.
Coming up, can
I
Washington
think at one
even
point he
the
was fighting
score
off
with
like
a
6 or 7
savage
countries at once.
counterattack?
And wasn't it right on the back
And
end
later,
of the French
Mac
Revolution?
exposes the surprising secrets behind
Like,
two of history's greatest
It's kind of scary.
generals.
I don't know how he'd be an actual, like, if you put him and Washington
George
in
Washington.
an arena with each other.
Outmanned and outgunned, he led a tired and
Washington
tattered army to
would
victory over the most
Just 'cause he's
powerful
so
military
much
force of
bigger.
the
Yeah.
time.
Size and weight advantage.
Versus Napoleon Bonaparte, the power-hungry
Have you done
warlord
an
bent on
SS
world
episode?
domination.
I don't know what you mean.
He was willing to sacrifice hundreds of thousands of his own men in pursuit of victory. In the winter of 1812, he invaded
Hey,
Russia
we
with
were just
half
talking
a
about
million
this.
troops. Less than 25,000 survived.
Dang.
It's cold. We're
Not
talking
hot
about
to
6
the
feet of
people dying,
snow.
hot to me
The
being
whole
right.
army was having to deal with malnutrition, and he lost a lot of people.
We've seen how Napoleon Bonaparte and George Washington utilized cannons to initiate a battle, but after that, they would have
Cannons.
closed that distance
Bonaparte
and
more like
utilized
blown
their
apart.
mid-range weapons.
Police,
I feel
how
like
would Napoleon
they
conduct
probably
mid-range
spent
warfare?
a little
Well,
longer than they
Napoleon
needed to
loved
with those
volley
cannons.
fire. Techniques developed
Yeah,
for
I also
the lack
don't
of
blame them.
accuracy of the muskets. You would have a row of soldiers shooting to overwhelm the
The show's
kind
kinda weird, 'cause it's like
of rounds.
Part
Napoleon
just,
armed his
like,
troops with the 1777
history
Charleville
lesson,
musket.
part
The design so
Mythbusters
deadly, it
just
was
blowing
copied
things
across the
up.
world.
and
the
then
66 caliber round, it's
like,
actually not a
the
tight
analysis
fit,
thing that
which
I'm
meant that it
pretty
wasn't as
convinced they just
accurate, but it was
make
way
it up.
faster to reload than any rifle.
To accurately reproduce Napoleon's volley fire tactic, Matthew and 3 experienced black powder marksmen will form a volley line. To test the Charleville musket's damage, accuracy, and reload time, each marksman will fire 5 rounds at 4 static targets placed 60 yards away, the effective range of the weapon. 5 yards behind them, an officer on horseback.
So what are they testing?
Bonjour. Shooting.
Did he say bonjour
Just
for
missed it.
aim? I swear he said bonjour.
On horseback.
Présentez vos armes! On joue!
I don't think so, but it sounds like it.
Just missed it.
Stylish.
How do you say
To
aim
reload,
in French?
a black
I don't
powder
know.
charge is poured into the muzzle, followed by a patched lead ball
I think you're
rammed
saying
on
ready
top.
your arms.
More black
something.
powder is poured into the firing pan, and the hammer containing a
This
flint
definitely
is cocked.
couldn't all be done
When the
with
trigger is
Google
pulled,
search.
the flint sparks
But
the powder in the pan,
there's no reason for the
igniting the
props.
main charge.
I don't think they're hitting
visuals.
anything.
It's admittedly just a cool way to get them.
Oh,
Face there.
yeah, it's cool. It helps visualize it in a way that I don't think we can do with our calculations.
Right.
Oh my gosh! They just
Beautifully placed right through the zygote.
Like,
of
I
the
think
cheekbone.
they would have
This
easily been
lights
able
up as an
to
instant kill.
calculate which of those
Napoleon's
cannons was better.
1777
But
Charleville musket
giving a measurement
delivered
like we
death
do
to
in
all
joules
4
or
infantry
watts or
targets.
whatever is just
And the
meaningless to
commander is
most people.
clean. So what
So,
that means?
I would
of
totally
these
want to play
5
around with the
targets,
cannon.
Right?
4 of them
And
are
yeah, they could have done
killed
this on a
in
much
1
lower
minute,
budget, but
43 seconds.
I don't blame
You know
them.
what we
Seems like
should
you've
do
done plenty of damage, but
is
you missed the important guy
get
in the
Elon
back.
Musk to
Only
sponsor
had
us
some
and build an
kind of
actual
weapon that you
R-Wing
could
that we could
properly
test out
aim and
for
fire on such
Wait, this guy, Paul Cita, he just straight up does not want to be here. He's like, now this gun could have been good, but unfortunately, Napoleon couldn't hit that guy who was on that horse back there that you guys missed. Like, they're putting the entire French army on them.
Important guy in the back. If only you had some kind of weapon that you could properly aim and fire on such
Dang! Calm
Washington's
down, Paul.
Continentals took aim at the British with a 1-2 punch of muskets and long rifles.
Washington is
I wonder
forced
how
by
much
the
they
lack of
actually
resources
factor
to
this
combine
into their-
conventional with unconventional, and with something I might call
Did they need a
hybrid warfare.
PhD for this?
He's got militia that are coming in
No.
from all around. They're bringing muskets, but some of them are bringing rifles.
They might have had
They'll
one.
Fold
but they
those
didn't.
units
Yeah,
into a
that's
line
someone
of
who's
battle, but the
talking.
rifle gives them a lot more flexibility.
Washington's musket, the Brown Bess, the longest used firearm in British military history.
very comparable musket to the French equivalent, and the loose fit of the ball meant that it bounced around a bit in the
What are you
barrel.
looking at?
That's why muskets aren't nearly as
Driveatank.com.
accurate as rifles are.
Washington's troops also packed the Pennsylvania long rifle, a weapon that dealt death from over
Should we watch this
200
through all the way or
yards.
finish it?
Rifling is a series of grooves that
I say we finish it
spiral
later.
to the end of the
All right.
barrel. The grooves spin
Let's
the
make it
ball
through the
out of the
musket
barrel.
then.
Because it's spinning, it's more accurate for a farther distance. Unfortunately, that snug fit in the barrel tended to foul the barrel when there was carbon buildup, so it takes longer to reload.
Can Washington's musket rifle combo outgun Napoleon's team in less than 1 minute and 43 seconds? Wayne, Paul, and 2 black powder marksmen
This
will
is-
fire 2 muskets. and
It's
2
weird because
rifles,
it's really just
each with
it
5
depends
rounds.
on how accurate the people that they got.
Nice.
The carbon buildup in the rifle's barrel must be thoroughly cleaned, making it twice as long to reload.
Oh, that was a hit.
Man, that takes a long time.
Oh, that's a hit. Evil. Evil trick. Oh, that's a mess.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he missed it.
Nice shot. That's a good hit.
Missed it.
Oh, belly shot on
What
the
did you
horse.
return on? We're watching Deadliest Warrior. It's like the first versus battle show. It's
four
like
static targets
versus
are hit.
battles if they were
Muskets
with
blow through
historical
their 5
figures
shots.
and done by
The slower
network
reloading
television.
rifles continue to fire.
Commander's down.
This is literally just people playing. Oh my gosh.
Washington's musket rifle combination matches Napoleon's 4 static.
I'm watching this on
This guy is half
Amazon.
the man
I
he
bought
used
the
to be.
episode, but I
Human
saw
tissue
it a
would
bit
not
ago. It
fall
was on
apart like this,
Netflix,
but it does
and that
speak
might be for
volumes
free.
with regards to the temporary cavity that's
Does
being
Netflix
displayed
have
there.
things that
That's an instant kill.
Or if it is on
The
Netflix, then it would
accuracy
be
of the
for free.
rifle is undeniable, but in war, speed is everything. Our Charleville is way faster reloading. We can get so many more shots.
Napoleon's musket volley fire or Washington's musket and rifle hybrid warfare? Which do our experts believe has the edge?
The Brown Bess used
I think
in
I'd probably agree
combination
that
with the
faster is better.
Pennsylvania rifle, you're
Especially
looking
if it's
at a
more
weapon
accurate.
system
I feel like
that allows
Washington
you
is
to
just
reach
out
out
here.
a little further, a little bit more
A gun
accuracy,
isn't
and
always a gun.
I,
Like, a gun's a gun,
sniper,
but-
I like.
We're seeing a combo technique where you're actually
Guns are
getting
really
accuracy
different
and a lot of trauma.
from
So
each
for me, there's no question the edge here goes to George Washington.
I don't like the fact it did take them double the time, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
that seems
really
like a
matter
big thing.
what kind of time these were done in. If you don't kill everyone, you don't get the job done.
Medium range.
That was just a matter of
edge,
like
George Washington.
the aim of the people using it.
Coming up,
I think it was the
George
same
Washington's crushing victory at Yorktown
There, and he used deception.
faces off
All right,
against
so that's what we're gonna call this one for today. Yeah, it's interesting going back on like the roots of a versus battle show. I think that, like I said, I think that's the first one.
If anyone wants to donate $2,600, I will rent a tank and use it as a prop in one of our episodes. Because this is way cheaper than I thought.
Without without any context or relation to the episode, Lemon, we just randomly cut to him driving a tank.
We'll just stick it in like We Fit versus Game & Watch or something.
Fun fact, my brother-in-law is a Marine, and he was in the pilot seat of the tank, like the lookout, and the person fell asleep, and he got rolled over by a tank from the lookout like 10 times. And then after being cut in half, went and saved like 6 people from that crash, and then collapsed and went to the hospital.
Jeez.
And now he's not fine, but he can walk. So
Adrenaline
there's that
is a crazy
story.
drug. I remember when I was in elementary school, we had this guy come to our school and talk about how he got shot in the stomach with like a 50 caliber rifle during war, and was just like telling us about how his guts were spilling out and he was needing to carry him around with him to go find help. I don't know why they had this guy come and talk, but it was kind of disturbing. It was like how old would I have been? Like 10?
I think some visitors are just things that the teachers will find interesting to help them get through the day.
One time we had a guy come by and talk about this book that he wrote. And he was telling us that it was a book based on when, like, aliens came down and gave him some kind of mysterious cloth with a symbol on it that gave him, like, a well of power he could tap into.
What?
Yeah, like, he presented it as, like, a completely factual story. He said the FBI raided his house to steal it back. It was wild.
That's crazy.
I believed him because I was a child. And looking back on it, he was not telling the truth. He was selling the backstory for a book. But I feel a little betrayed by my school for presenting it like fact.
Anyway, that's the stream. Thank you guys so much for the progress to the donation. That is awesome. And yeah, we will see you guys next